Hello, I'm James Mills and you're watching CATEX-TV broadcasting live from Princeton, New Jersey. Today's date is the 22nd of August 2008 and the time is currently 11:30 a.m. in New York, 4:30 p.m. in London and 12:30 p.m. in Hamilton, Bermuda. Firstly, on this day in 1992, Hurricane Andrew hits the Bahamas. There and in South Florida, where it arrived 2 days later, the storm was responsible for the deaths of 26 people and an estimated $35 billion in property damage. And now to the main news. Aon this morning confirmed that it plans to acquire Benfield. Both boards have agreed a deal representing £3.50 per share. That's approximately $6.55 in cash, and assume 91 million pounds sterling, which is around $170 million of Benfield net debt, representing an enterprise value of approximately 935 million pounds sterling on a fully diluted basis. The consideration represents a 29% premium to Benfield's closing stock price on the 21st of August 2008, the last trading day prior to the announcement of that agreement. Following the close of the transaction, Aon said it intends to integrate the Benfield business with its existing reinsurance operations and operate the division globally under a newly created Aon Benfield rebrand. And following on from that story, Benfield directors are set for a monster windfall after the completion of the company's £844 million sterling takeover by its rival Aon. Together, Benfield's directors own 38.4 million shares in the company, as shown by the company's annual report at the end of December. The deal, which will see Aon pay £3.50 per share to each Benfield shareholder, will see the board of directors pocket a tidy £134.3 million sterling. The greatest benefactor of the deal will be the Chief Executive Officer, Graham Chilton, who owned 21.95 million shares at the end of December. He will actually pocket nearly £77 million sterling. Chairman John Coleman, who will stay on at Aon Benfield Re in a senior capacity, will take home nearly £50 million sterling. A train carrying about 50 people has derailed in northeast Portugal, leaving one person dead and others injured, emergency services say. Some passengers are still trapped on the train, which unconfirmed reports suggest fell into a ravine. The train came off the tracks in Carazida de Anciers region, a winemaking area popular with tourists. The train was travelling from Tua to Mirandela, derailing near the village of Boronida just after 11 a.m. local time. Emergency services, including ambulances, dozens of firemen and 2 helicopters from the Civil Protection Force, are at the scene of the derailment, local media reports. 3 people died when a train carrying just 5 passengers was derailed from the same line in February 2007, falling into a ravine. More than 60 people are reported to have been killed and 150 wounded during clashes in the Somali port of Kismayo. More than 3,000 people have fled the southern city, where an estimated 10 people died on the 3rd day of some of the most intense fighting for months. There has also been fierce fighting in the Somali capital, Mogadishu, and pirate hijackings off the north coast, which were reported earlier this week. The head of the human rights group in the port said the fighting had caused an acute humanitarian crisis. Many people have no access to food and all business activity is reported to have stopped. Hundreds of thousands of Muslims have taken part in a protest rally called for separatist leaders in Indian-controlled Kashmir's main city, Srinagar. The rally ended with the leaders calling a 3-day strike beginning Saturday in the Kashmir Valley. This is the 4th big protest in the Muslim-dominated valley in less than 2 weeks. Anti-Indian sentiment has grown following a dispute over the granting of land to a Hindu shrine organization. 2 boats carrying members of a US-based pro-Palestinian group have left Cyprus in an attempt to break Israel's blockade of the Gaza Strip. The boats left the Cypriot port of Larnaca on Friday morning. The journey is expected to take about 30 hours. The Free Gaza protest group said about 40 activists from 14 countries were on board the boats. Israel imposed a blockade on Gaza in June 2007 when a militant group of Hamas took control of the country by force. Since then, Israel has allowed in little more than basic humanitarian aids as a means of isolating Hamas and persuading militant groups to stop firing rockets into Israel. At least 9 people, including 6 policemen, have been killed in clashes between security forces and Maoist rebels in India, officials say. 2 rebels and a civilian were also killed in a shootout in Gaya district in northern Bihar state. The fighting started when the police challenged a group of Maoists who were attempting to rob a bank, police say. More than 6,000 people have died during the rebels' 20-year fight for a communist state in parts of India. The rebels later managed to escape from the area after the clashes. Police are conducting a search operation. The UN has made its last aid flight to Burma in the wake of Cyclone Nargis. A total of 232 flights have been made from Bangkok over a 3-month period to ferry aid to the devastated Irrawaddy Delta region. A World Food Programme spokesman said the Thai airport had been a critical air hub for vital supplies. The cyclone in May is believed to have killed more than 130,000 people and left hundreds of thousands of others in desperate need of aid. The UN has said that $1 billion, approximately 538 million pounds sterling, is still needed for relief and reconstruction in Burma. And now we'll go to a commercial break.
Every day, the world wakes up and goes to work, pursuing the unique opportunities that lead the global economy forward. The complexity and close connectivity of today's global marketplace is a true modern miracle that can create unparalleled success. But it takes confidence, passion, innovation, and understanding.
Enabling opportunity.
Protecting capital.
Engineering innovation.
Investing in your future.
Ensuring continuity.
Finding the right balance.
It takes Aon.
Global warming. Some say irreversible consequences are 30 years away. 30 years? That won't affect me.
Together, New Yorkers can fight global warming right now, before it's too late.
Russia says its withdrawal of combat troops from Georgia is going according to plan and that it is not prepared to increase the speed of the operation. Moscow has set itself a deadline of Friday night to withdraw to the buffer zone in Georgia around the breakaway regions of South Ossetia and Abkhazia. Russia says it plans a permanent presence there with around 2,000 troops inside Georgia as peacekeepers. Georgia says it will not accept any annexation of its land by Russia. Diplomatic efforts at the UN have reached deadlock over rival solutions to the crisis from France and Russia. The UN says it is prepared to veto a Russian resolution at the UN Security Council seeking to implement a 6-point ceasefire plan. Russia has reiterated its opposition to a rival French text, which reaffirms Georgia's territory integrity. Hong Kong was buffered by gale force winds today as Typhoon Nuri churned towards the major financial hub. Within most of the city and its markets shut down ahead of direct hit by its worst typhoon in 5 years.